Hey, everybody. Hope you enjoyed Pivot 2021. Want to thank all the sponsors and session hosts this year. The U.S. Department of Energy Geothermal Technologies Office as sponsor, the SPE, AAPG, IGA, and GRC as session hosts. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. I wanted to say Pivot was a lot this year in terms of absorption. And so, this is going to be a little stream of consciousness in terms of closing remarks, but I wanted to give some visibility on some of the channels of communication that have happened throughout the conference this week, because I think it would be really valuable for everybody to hear some of these perspectives, because it's something that we all should have our eyes on and work toward over the next year. There were, maybe three prongs of discussions and different types of communications that were going on. They were coming in through chat, through personal communications, inbox, a lot of discussion and questions coming in Q&A. And of course, the content of the panels themselves. And to just process that a little bit, they separate into three prongs. One, oil and gas. We've got this kind of army collecting here, ready to scale this up, but they're waiting to see if there is a model that will work, right? So the takeaway quote there was, "We're waiting on our geothermal George Mitchell." And as soon as that happens, we'll have a pylon moment. We'll be able to scale this. That's really exciting. But that kicked off a second prong of comments, which was a vast number of stakeholders that are scared about that and don't feel that they are in this conversation enough, right? So, and this is something that should not be a surprise. So, we've got folks worried about social license and public trust and transparency and community engagement. And these comments are coming from NGOs and municipalities. And Pivot was not a good platform for that type of in-depth, detailed discourse, because it's largely, a one-way conversation with a little bit of Q&A here and there. But really, these types of conversations need to happen, in depth and with purpose. And I think that they probably need to start happening now, sooner rather than later, like this month, this year. Because as soon as we do have that geothermal concept over the coming months or years that proves to be globally scalable, and we're off to the races, the world needs to be prepared for what that means. And so dialogue like that, I think, will help. The shale revolution came as a huge surprise to everybody. And this, frankly, just doesn't have to. We can do a lot of work now in the background to set everything up and everybody up for comfort and success. So, the one suggestion I would make to everybody in the audience is reach out and engage and try to come to some consensus about how geothermal can be done comfortably at scale in communities over the next year. There's a third prong that most people have their fingers on, which is a tension that has developed within the geothermal community between closed loop and EGS, that's kind of spilled into the public, and it's a very inward looking concern, right? So the hope there is that we push our concepts forward and focus on making things work. Because again, there is a lot to do in terms of outreach to get the world excited about this, aware of it, and comfortable with it at scale. And so, all the excess energy would be really well served going toward that. At least from where I'm sitting, it looks that way. So there was another theme, which was, will this stick? Right. So is the oil and gas interest and engagement here something that's going to be long lasting, or is it a fad? And I think that really gets to the heart of what Pivot is and why Pivot exists. It's a decade-long conference series intended to kind of keep track, to keep us honest, to check what's been done, what happened the year prior, what are we planning now, how are people feeling, let's take temperatures, where are we technologically, how fast can we go. The difference between Pivot 2020 and Pivot 2021 in terms of temperature was huge. I mean, it was just in terms of interest and audience and participants and speakers and international engagement and entity engagement. So it will be fascinating to see if we can keep this fever pitch up for Pivot 2022. So let's do it. Okay, so with that, I am signing off. I would build and collaborate and go, and I am hoping that the geothermal George Mitchell is already out there in the field somewhere, and that we will be celebrating your success next year at Pivot 2022. So run, go, go, go. We'll see you next year. And thanks everybody for attending and all your participations. Thanks to the moderators. Thanks to the panelists. You all made this a really successful event, and we really appreciate you all. So signing off, we'll see you next year, everybody. Bye.